Welcome to the 11th episode of Casual Commander, featuring 4 commanders from Dominaria United. For today's game, we have Raff, Weatherlight Stalwart, Astor, Bearer of Blades, Nemata, Primeval Warden, and Jenson, Carthalion, Druid Exile. Like always, like, comment, subscribe to support the video, and most importantly, enjoy the game. Grape plays a land and passes the turn to Country. Country plays a land and passes the turn to Extra. Extra plays a land and passes to me. I play a tapped land and pass to Grape. Grape plays a land and passes the turn to Country. Country plays a land, casts Idol of Oblivion and passes the turn to Extra. Extra plays a tapped land and passes to me. I play a tapped land and pass to Grape. Grape plays a land and passes the turn to Country. Country plays a tapped land, casts his commander Raff, Weatherlight Stalwart, and passes the turn to Extra. Extra plays a land, casts Horn Elves, and passes to me. I play a land, cast Anawan the Foremost, and pass to Grape. Grape plays a land, casts his commander Astor, Bearer of Blades, adds Ogre Helm to his hand, and passes the turn to Country. Country plays a land, casts Poppet Stitcher, and passes the turn to Extra. Extra casts Kadama's Reach, puts a land into play tapped, plays the 1 added to his hand, and passes to me. I play a land and cast Marchesa the Black Rose. After that, I go to combat, attack Grape with Anawan, triggering the throne, dealing 5 damage and passing the Grape. Grape plays a land, losing 2 life, casts Colossus Hammer, equips it to his commander, casts Blazing Sunsteel, also equips it to his commander, attacks me for 17 commander damage, and passes the turn to Country. Country plays a land, casts Midnight Haunting, making a zombie with Decayed and tapping 2 creatures to draw a card. He then taps Idol to draw a card before attacking Extra for 2 damage and passing the turn to him. Extra plays a land, casts Soul Shatter, followed by his commander Nemata, Primeval Warden, and then passes to me. I cast Chromatic Lantern, followed by General's Enforcer, play a land tapped, attack Grape for 5 damage, and pass the turn to Grape. Grape plays a land, casts his commander, adds Grappling Hook to his hand, and passes the turn to Country. Country plays a land, casts Talryan, Sky Summoner, attacks me with 2 spirits, dealing 2 damage, and passes the turn to Extra. Extra plays a land, casts Anawan, the Ruin Sage, followed by Slimefoot the Stowaway, and passes to me. Start of my turn, I exile a creature from my graveyard to make a token with Enforcer and sacrifice it to Anawan, giving Extra a Sapperling. After that, I cast 3 visits, play a land, cast my commander Jenson, Carthalion, Druid Exile, and attack Extra with both of my creatures, putting a counter on Enforcer. Extra blocks an Anawan with his Sapperling and takes 3 damage. I then pass the turn to Grape. On his upkeep, Grape sacrifices his commander to Anawan. He then casts Ogrehead Helm, followed by Foundry Inspector, and passes the turn to Country. On his upkeep, Country sacrifices his zombie to Anawan. He then casts Curiosity Crafter, attacks Extra with 2 spirits, dealing 2 damage and drawing 2 cards. After that, he plays a land and casts Archaeomancer's Map, finding 2 planes and passing the turn to Extra. On his upkeep, Extra sacrifices his Horn Elves to Anawan. He then casts Jaheira, Friend of the Forest, and passes to me. On my upkeep, I sacrifice my commander to Anawan, giving Extra a Sapperling. I then cast my commander, followed by Leonor, Autumn Sovereign, scrying with Jenson. I go to combat and put a counter on Enforcer and draw a card with Leonor for attacking Extra with 2 creatures, putting a counter on my Enforcer. Extra blocks Enforcer, takes 5 damage, and I pass to Grape. On his upkeep, Grape sacrifices his Ogrehead Helm to Anawan. He then casts Bloodforged Battle Axe, followed by Batterbone and Helm of the Host, before passing the turn to Country. On his upkeep, Country sacrifices a spirit to Anawan. He then plays a land, attacks me with his spirit, dealing 1 damage and drawing a card, before passing the turn to Extra. End of turn, Extra makes a token with Slimefoot. On his upkeep, Extra sacrifices his Sapperling to Anawan. He He then casts Eradicator Valkyrie and passes to me. End of turn, Country casts Perplexing Test, making a Drake, drawing a card, and returning all non-token creatures to their owner's hand. Extra then responds by making a token with Slimefoot. I cast my Commander, followed by General's Enforcer, scrying 1, and Leonore, scrying 1 again. I go to combat and put a counter on Enforcer and draw a card with Leonore. After that, I play a land, fetch a mountain and gain 1 life, before passing to Grape. Grape casts Rograk, son of Rogok, and equips Helm on him. At the beginning of combat, he creates a copy and passes to Country. Country casts his Commander, plays a land, casts Curious Crafter, and attacks me for 1 and Grape for 2, drawing 2 cards. After combat, he casts Soul Ring and passes the turn to Extra. Extra casts his Commander, followed by Virtuous Maneuver, which is met with a negate from Country. He then passes the turn to me. I cast Widespread Thieving, followed by General Kudro of Dranath, scrying 1 and making a treasure, and Judith the Scourge Diva, again scrying 1 and making a treasure. I go to combat, put a counter on Enforcer and draw a card, before attacking Grape with Leonore and Extra with Jenson and Enforcer. Grape takes 2, while Extra blocks Enforcer with a Sapperling and takes 4. After that, I pass to Grape. Grape casts Foundry Inspector, followed by Consulate Dreadnought. He then equips his axe on the Rograk token and goes to combat, making another Rograk, and attacks Extra, dealing 2 damage and making another axe. After that, he passes the turn to Country. Country plays a land, casts Monastery Mentor, followed by Talron's Sky Summoner, and Migratory Route, making a monk, a drake, and drawing a card. He then attacks Grape with a drake and a spirit, dealing 3 damage and drawing 2 cards, before passing the turn to Extra. On Extra's turn, I cast Gruel Charm, dealing 3 damage to all creatures with flying, scrying 1 and making a treasure. The charm resolves and Extra makes 8 Sapperlings. After that, Extra casts Jahera, followed by Moldervine Reclamation, before passing to me. I cast Dynahair, invoke Errata, scrying 1 and making a treasure. With Dynahair and Jenson, I generate 10 mana and cast Maya, Bredagard Protector, along with General Ferris Rockford, thanks to Widespread Thieving, while scrying 1 twice and making 2 treasures. I play a land and cast an Offensa, making a treasure, a golem, and scrying 1, before going to combat, putting a counter on Enforcer, drawing a card, and attacking Country with 3 of my creatures. He blocks Kudro with his monk and takes 7 damage. After that, I pass to Grape. Grape casts Meteoric Mace, cascading into Seraphic Greatsword. He then goes to combat, making another Rograk and attacking Country for 2 with the one equipped with the axe. Country takes it, and Grape makes another axe. He then passes the turn to Country. Country casts Raven Form on Nemata, making a monk, a drake, and drawing a card. He then casts Horn of Valhalla and Mystic Reflection, so that the tokens made off of Horn turn into Monastery Mentors. Along with this, he also creates 2 monks, 2 drakes, and draws 2 cards. He draws a card with Idol and passes the turn to Extra. Extra plays a land, casts Deadly Dispute sacrificing the Raven, followed by his Commander, Gravelight, Essence Word, and Slimefoot, before passing to me. I cast Tome of the Guild Pack, followed by Joyra Weatherlight Captain, Raff Kapashin Ship's Mage, and the activation of Gavany Township. I go to combat, and Country casts Depose on my Enforcer. I attack Country with all my creatures, and he blocks with 3 Mentors to survive at 9. I then pass to Grape. Grape equips Sunsteel to Rograk and attacks me with it. I double block with Joyra and Raff, and Grape deals 14 damage to Country thanks to Sunsteel. After combat, Grape plays Masterwork of Ingenuity as a copy of Sunsteel and passes to Extra. Extra casts Eradicator Valkyrie, followed by Utopium Icon, and passes to me. I cast Urza's Ruinous Blast and finish off the game.